angles and parallel lines. So it's likely you learnt this in year 10, and it was something new then, and you probably practiced it this year. So there are 3 of them. The first one, there's all sorts of ways that people make you remember this. So I'm going to write it like that because I remember it as an F. And the reason that I remember it as an F, I'll come to later. But we're talking about this angle and this angle. Now, these 2 angles, when you squash this together, end up at the same place. So that's why this one is called corresponding. They're in the corresponding place on each of these crosses. All right? So these are corresponding, and these are corresponding. As long as they're in the same place, they're corresponding angles, and they have to be parallel lines, which these don't look very parallel, but that's okay. So this one here is the same as this one here. Well, that's definitely not 170. Let's make it 130. All right, so those 2 are the same. And the reason is angles on, no, try again. First we put the reason, corresponding angles on parallel lines. And this is the important part, right? We must have this, are equal. All right, so therefore A equals 130 degrees. Okay, the next one I draw to look like a U. All right, the next one has parallel lines going this way, so this looks like a U. And we're talking about co-interior. Now, what do co-interior? That's this one and this one. So they're together on the inside, but they could be together on the outside on the same side of this line. This line has the name a transversal. So the transversal, this side same, this side, this one, or this one. All right, so we can put a bit of colour in here. We've got this one and this one, and this one and this one. We've got this one and this one. We've got this one and this one. And we've got this one and this one and this one and this one. They are all using the same reason. All right, so if this is 80 degrees, what is this going to be? Well, this one and this one are corresponding. So this red X is 80 degrees. These 2 are on a straight line, so they have to add up to 180. So this one is 100. So actually, we just need to know that they add to 100. Again, that word, supplementary. Okay, so therefore, K in this case will be equal to 100 because it's 180 minus 80. Don't forget always to write the reason and put this part here in, parallel lines. The last one we make look like a Z. All right, so Z is alternate. That means it's on the opposite side of the transversal, but on the inside or the outside the same. So we've got this one, 40, and this one, B. All right, or opposite side of the of that. So it's got to be this side and this side, but it's actually here. All right. So on the opposite side here, or this one and this one. You can kind of tell because of the diagram, it makes sense, it looks right. And this one and this one. They're all what we call alternate. So they alternate as they go around. So yes, no, they're all equal, right? Yes, no, yes, this is the alternate one. Yes, no, yes, this is the alternate one, all right? So it's alternate, but in the same place. Alternate angles, parallel lines are equal. When you're doing this, look at the diagram and see, does it really look like it could be 140 and add to 180? That does not look like 140. So make sure you use the diagram, although they're not accurate and you can't measure them with a protractor, you can look at them and use them as a guide to figure out what B might be. So B equals 40 degrees. All right, so these are them. Now I'm going to tell you a story about FUZ. So when I was a kid, the police were called not Popo or any of the things they're called nowadays. They were called the Fuzz. And in America, that linked to the CIA. So we learned that if went to corresponding, U went to interior, and Z went to alternate. So that's what we used to use.